Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. And this time I'm out of any harm's way from last experience. And what I want to talk today about, I'll be very brief. I will concentrate on um, the investigative reporting that we did and a little bit more on concrete cases. And the Mr. Fazekash's presentation was really interesting because it falls very well on what we are seeing on the ground, let's say so. And I was thinking during the presentation that what I'm seeing at what we have seen in the last years in this respect of state capture and how politicians and crooked people act, they are really copying and mimicking and sometimes interacting with like proper criminals, like drug dealers, like people who do human trafficking, and so on. Reading up in the last 6 months, I read a lot of cases about people who are doing, trafficking people, smuggling drugs, and all this type of organization. And they have what is really constant. They have structure, they have a business plan. Most of the guys involved, they know what their role is, and they are really efficient. They test out methods, and they scale up really fast. So if you think and you look then at corruption patterns, if it's on procurement, on money laundering, or tax evasion, whatever you think of it, it's the same. At one point, somebody tests the methods, it's working. They avoid the rule of law, and they scale up. And this is where we tried to approach investigations in another way. We went kind of mimicking them, but in the opposite way. How to scale up investigation and how to show and indicate more of these cases, not just one by one. Because the matter of the fact is that we are a few investigative reporters, and there is so much corruption. So what we did is to look at patterns, as Mr. Ionitsa, of course, looked into a lot of patterns of misspending, of how the government is acting and giving out contracts to politically affiliated companies. We tried to look to one specific component of this, and I will refer to the bearer share companies in Romania. And this is one example. So we try to replicate this model over and over again. So for example, we have these bearer share companies in Romania who are like acted until last year. They were like offshore companies inside of Romania. So anonymity, and they could do business as usual with hidden owners. And we started this from an bit of news. In 2013, I think there were the police seized a trove of documents from one of Romania's important businessman, Mr. Troică, who was involved in a land grabbing operation alongside a billionaire from Israel, Mr. Benny Steinmetz, who's well known in the world. But when police went to his house and searched his premises, they found a piece of paper which was a bearer share document of a company. that company was getting state contracts. And we started our digging from there. And we found out there are over 400 companies that act like this, and they are set up like this. And if you look, they got in 10 years 1.5 billion euros in public fund and EU funds. So this is quite a good chunk of money. And besides this, these companies were active in all the market, like construction, like real estate, whatever you think. So besides getting money from the state, they were doing business as usual, and getting financed a lot. In one of the investigation that was quite high and well documented by our organization, we found out that one of these companies was controlled through this method by Mr. Dragnea, the former chief of the Social Democrats in Romania, who's now in prison. So from this, we could see exactly a super good model of state capture. Mr. Dragnea was the high politician. You had the company that he controlled. This company was getting money from the state budget. They were paying a lot of people, involved in all sorts of shady operation. At one point, my colleagues documented the fact that like the wife or relative of the financial investigative unit in Romania was getting money from this company. So it was pretty obvious that on the money laundering side, this company would go under the radar. So this is one of the models that we developed, and the other one, starting from this, we went into the EU funds of this company controlled by Mr. Dragnea. And what we found out is that it got a lot of EU funding. And for two of the contracts that this company was awarded, there was the investigation from Olaf and from the DNA, the Romanian prosecutors on anti-corruption, and now there is a big case that probably is pending to be sent to trial. But one interesting aspect, it was that during looking into the EU funding, we found out that Mr. Dragnea himself created a system to hide the misappropriation of the EU funds. So what he did, he actually went and when he was in the government at the Ministry of Development, Regional Development, he promoted an government ordinance in order to hide the fact that the local county that awarded these contracts to his company went over the procurement regulation. They did one of the accusation was that one of the tenders went through in, I think, 19 days. So in 19 days you cannot even put together a proper file to tender for a contract. So what Mr. Dragnea said is, okay, the beneficiaries of EU funds are not responsible for this misappropriation. We'll put out this ordinance, government ordinance, and they will not pay, the money that should be fined. There was in fact in the Ministry of Development there was a department who was researching this, and they found out, look, roads are not built correctly, tenders are badly done, and contracts are appropriated to politically involved persons, and there are all sorts of conflict of interest. But what we found out, it was that Teldrum and Mr. Dragna's friends were not the only one benefiting from this. In fact, there are tens and tens of beneficiaries and companies who, in the end, were not part of a proper investigation from the law enforcement. And what I can tell you is that some of these contracts are big contracts that are related to the healthcare system. So now we can actually see the harm done by this method of covering up and making it seem like yeah, well, this is just a bureaucracy and nothing was stolen, everything is in order. Now we can see it in effect. What was happening in 2012 and 13 affects us really badly on the healthcare system, and not just there. So it's like a drug network trying to hide its and launder its profits via a business that appears to be a real, genuine, like a car wash or whatever you think of it, like a loaning business or stuff like that. They use different type of business of laundering the money. Mr. Dragna thought of a way to hide the misappropriation of EU funds. But this is not just happening in Romania. It's happening all over Europe. And one other good example of again a pattern was the Azerbaijani laundromat. Again, we saw a state which is like properly captured by a family, plunging its own budget. So in this case, we investigated a slush fund of almost 3 billion US dollars. That went from the state budget via companies, offshore companies, into the pockets of politicians in Azerbaijan. And the pattern here that we saw, it was in the transaction. So in Danske Bank's transaction, the bank that handed most of this money, you could see recurrent patterns, recurrent payments to and from 4 companies and 2 politically involved persons. So this was a way of tracking this story. And I mean, I would stop here because we heard a lot of good presentation until now, and my idea and my focus on the next period is actually to try, to investigate corruption and organized crime, because drug traffickers and people who do human trafficking and so on, they interact with politicians and white collars. So what we are trying to develop also with our colleagues from Bivol, with Dimitar and Atanas, is to scale up this from local projects like in Romania to cross-border projects, because we saw that like Romanian criminals, Romanian crooked politicians, they cooperate in the region at international level. So, for example, with our friends from Bivol, we investigated network also connected to Mr. Dragna of companies that were doing tax avoidance using companies from Bulgaria. So this is a pattern. This is a pattern that is used by Romanians to, do tax avoidance and money laundering. They use companies from Bulgaria, and of course there were also Romanians that were used by, for example, we did a story about a network in Denmark who was actually financing terrorism, who used Romanians as proxy persons. So this is how we should tackle this problem. We should look at regional and European and global level and find the patterns and try to expose it as a whole. Looking into, like, if we see in Romania a pattern of EU funds fraud, okay, let's go and try to replicate the method of investigating this in the region, or at least in the. Of course, there are like different variation on this. But for example, I think in Romania, Hungary, Serbia, the models of stealing from the public budgets, they are going to be kind of the same. And we should, try to look where this organization, this even white collars or money launderers interact, because for sure they do. So I think this is something that could also, if we scale it up also from the perspective of civil society, and we make a little bit of push in this direction, that could also benefit to organizations like the new European Prosecutor's Office, or Olaf, because this organization, they need also this kind of input. And I think what Expert Forum is doing, and K-Monitor from Hungary, and other organizations, this is a tremendous work that has to be scaled up at the European level, because it can be done.